Now we're going to finish off on reacts, and we're going to see how the internet did react to the North London derby defeat yesterday. We're going to start off with Aditya Singh saying, as teams progress in their rebuild, some things that brought you out of the basement struggle when you also asked them to take you to the ceiling. Ange hinted at this last night. A bit of this is happening at Tottenham in the first 4 games. Let me share some examples. Where are these examples?
Oh, it's in the...
Oh, bloody hell. You're bringing out a bloody long thread here.
What am I looking at? I don't have it here.
You go on to the likes.
Oh, sorry. You might have to refresh it.
First one is... disclaimer, these are just some traits. We are just 4 games in. These players can improve, but the point of this is to highlight how to focus shifts as team gets better. I always said last season we need to build a team that we want to be under Ange and not where we are right now. So first of all, talking about Vicario, he was making crazy saves last season and he's good on the ball. He hasn't had to make crazy saves in the first 4 games this season. He's still good on the ball. So the focus now has become on how he doesn't come for corners for the Arsenal goal. He isn't even being fouled this time.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely right. And that's something, it's a big flaw. It's been a flaw ever since that City game. Literally, before that City game, no one even thought of it. But since that City game, he's been caught out a number of times.
Yeah, and teams are targeting it.
Yeah.
Then he's talking about Son, Johnson and Timo. We used to score a ton of goals in transition on counters last season, so the first 2 racked up great numbers. This season, we've controlled games much, much better. We're now seeing their inability against low blocks. Solanke got 0 service in the derby at home.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And this is what it's absolutely spot on, because last season the opposition probably had more of the game, which meant we had more opportunities to have transition. But because we're controlling games well, we're actually stuck in the opposition half a lot, which means we need a different skill set. And I don't think Timo, Son, or even Johnson that's their forte, and that's a problem.
Maddison, this isn't a criticism of him, to be honest, but now that we've brought Kulu in the team, Maddis is having to play deeper. You cannot have Kulu in the team. You can't not have Kulu in the team, but you also need Maddis close to the action. See him against Leicester. How do we fix this? But I also felt like that was a bit of a problem last season as well, as Maddison was dropping deep way too much.
Yeah, I don't think it's maybe saying not as much, but he was dropping deep at times last season as well, for sure. I agree with that. So, but I just think we need to persist with this Decky and Maddis thing. I think they need time. You know, they actually haven't played together that much. So I think we look a lot better with those 2 in the middle.
What do you do at Coventry with that position? Who do you play?
I reckon I would go Decky and Bergvall.
Decky and Bergvall. Yeah.
And put Bentancur still stick Bentancur on the
stick
6.
Archie Gray in there?
No, stick Bentancur because he's going to get banned, so you might as well play him.
Yeah. I'd like to see Archie Gray start, though.
Gray maybe Gray at right back.
Great right back, Spence at left back. Yeah, I wouldn't be against that. Udogi, Porro, the demands from these 2 in the system is crazy. The inversion was great last season as there was loads of spaces. We don't have that much space now, so do we ask them to play wide at times, especially Udogi? I completely agree with this. This is absolutely spot on. At some point, we need to get them wide. I think particularly Udogi to get that Son in the middle areas.
Agreed. Yeah, and I agree. It's another point. Like, now we're playing a lot in the opposition half. We actually don't need Porro and Udogi in those spaces, like on the halfway line, like we see them a lot, and we just need them a bit wider, maybe in the final third.
And then they just finish off saying, just some examples of the small things where focus shifts once a team progresses. Players need to improve and they realise the nature of the opposition has changed, or we'll see exits. We're almost out of the basement now and moving towards the ceiling. Keep up. All right, next up. We missed one.
This was just Barry reacting to the corner. I just thought it was quite funny. Barry knew exactly what was coming, didn't he?
He's like praying to the gods.
This is before a corner, and he's literally praying with all his might. Please don't let this go in.
It feels like it's a penalty. If you just watch that and say what's happening on the pitch, you think it's a penalty.
It's a penalty to Arsenal. You think like Barry literally reacting to a corner like it was a penalty.
Yeah, that's basically us getting memed all over Arsenal Twitter yesterday.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I thought Barry was funny.
Harry Brooks says, worst performance in possession I've seen from Spurs for a while. I predicted Spurs would get a lot of What?
Sorry, I can't find you. Where are
We'll
you?
get a lot of final third entries, but it was a lack of quality in those moments. It would be 1-0 or 2-0 to Arsenal. But to be honest, Spurs didn't even look threatening when they did get into the final third. So it was even like they were close to creating good openings. I thought the lack of fluid movement in the central areas and lack of combination between Bentancur, Maddison, Kulusevski, Porra and Udogie was poor. All just standing, waiting, watching, playing the way that they're facing. No getting on the turn, no rotations, no disguise, no risk, no personality. Awful performance. And as I keep saying, Spurs defensively off the ball is not the big problem. It's the final third work in creating genuine openings that is well below par. And, you know, Ange has spoken about that a lot, saying he doesn't think it's the defensive actions that is the problem here at Spurs. It is the offensive actions.
I agree with that. But it's not to say that the defensive third isn't a problem. I just don't think it's the main problem. Because, as I said, when we're creating chances, like no one's going to care that much if we can see the odd goal. But when we're not... I thought yesterday, actually, there was a lot of times when we had the ball and everyone's just standing around. No one's moving and no one's like asking different questions. It was way too easy. It was way too stagnant a lot of the time. I think we will very much became alive when we're pressing and stuff like that. But when Arsenal in their settled back line and we're like looking to probe and move the ball around, it was way too stagnant, and that's got to change.
George Sessions says, this is Tottenham's worst start to a Premier League season since the 15-16, which was Maurizio Pochettino's second campaign. It started with a defeat, followed by 3 draws, but Spurs ended up in a title race before they subsequently finished third. A good omen to the end of the day. Yes. However, if we do have that same kind of points tally as we had in the second year of Poch, we still would barely make the top 4 this year, or maybe just about make it.
Would make it, but it wouldn't be. Yeah, it wouldn't
be nowhere near a title challenge.
No, it wouldn't be a title challenge because I think we finished on like 71 points in the end.
Yeah, which is like what if you go on like the last 5 years, you need 70 points to make top 4. Mari says it's frustrating to look at Sonny's maps to see that the only stays on the sideline. How long will he stay there? I feel like his potential is being wasted. We need changes. We can't use the best player and finisher on the team like that. Something has to change, and we've been banging on about this pretty much all stream, and it's quite right.
Yeah, I just want a bit more of his touches nearer to that corner of the penalty area to central, not just on the touchline. But the problem is how we play these wingers. That's what he's asked to do. So
he needs to adapt. Ange needs to adapt some of these tactics, and you're seeing a clear flaw in the game. So I think it's batshit crazy if we just carry on the same way without even like trying to change a few. And we're not asking for complete wholesale changes, just a few tweaks here and there. Ron says we used to be men, and if you look at the first picture with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg laying into Arteta, and I think that's even a pre-season friendly North London derby, back to yesterday, Maddison and Arteta having a hug off in the North London derby.
Maddison, there's no friends in the derby, mate. Come on. You can't be hugging Mikel Arteta. This is when Mikel Arteta did him because he did a dummy when went out for a throw, and Arteta let the ball go through his legs.
I swear at one stage Arteta touched the ball with his hand when the ball was in play.
But because it looked like from us on the fans it did, but the referee had blown up for a foul.
Oh, he blew up for a foul,
right, which is why he touched the ball. But we didn't know that at the time.
Next one is from Neto Era saying, can't depend on you for nothing. One, I'm having a bad day. And then Tottenham, not bad enough. Let's make it even worse.
That's the life of a Tottenham fan.
Literally 35 years of my life. Sonny says, it wasn't actually Sonny says this. It's Sonny7i says, thought a day would come where I don't feel excited to watch Sonny, but I'm really getting close to feeling like this. It's so frustrating to watch 90 minutes of Son tugging the touchline. Ange is wasting the most talented player he will ever manage. And it's hard to disagree again.
Yeah, he just needs to get Sonny in more of the... Look, it's something I said last year. It's something I've always had a problem with how he plays on the left. I don't have a problem with him on the left. It's more of how Ange plays his wingers is the problem for Son. So, if this is how he's going to play it, then I don't know. I don't know what the future lies for Son in this system, to be honest.
Spurs Watch say, might be the worst set of attackers I've ever seen at this club. Every single attack, we make the wrong decision. And thinking about that, like you go back to like Spurs under Christian Gross in like relegated threatened teams. You've got like Darren Anderton on the wing. You've got Klinsmann. You've got Teddy Sheringham. You know, you've got quality players there. You go back to like Martin Yole and just after Martin Yole, or maybe it was just before. When was it when we had Darren Bent, Robbie Keane, Defoe, Berbatov, and Aaron Lennon and these kind of players? I mean, does he have a case there? Is this like the worst set of attacking players?
I would say the worst since when we had one day Ramos
Fraser Campbell,
and we had Campbell, Pavlyuchenko, and Bent. And David Bentley. That's probably the worst. That's probably one of them.
Aaron Lennon was in there as well, wasn't he?
Lennon was there.
Yeah.
Bale was there as well, but very young Gareth Bale.
Yeah, left back Gareth Bale.
I'll probably say then. But since then, look, we've been blessed with some very good attackers. But yeah, at the moment, the way it's looking,
it's so harsh though to put Sonny in with that. Like, you're talking about our worst attacking options,
and also
you're talking
maybe
about
Solanke might. We'll have to see how Solanke turns up.
Yeah, the jury's definitely out with Solanke at the moment.
Oh, it's harsh. 2 games.
Yeah, the jury's out. He's got to prove himself. You don't think he's got to prove himself?
Obviously, all players have to prove
exactly.
themselves. But like,
when you come to a football club, the jury's always out until you prove yourself.
I'm confident he's gonna. I think he's done all right first 2 games. I think he's done all right.
Yeah, but he came here as a clinical striker, and he's not being clinical.
All right, it's a couple of games.
Yeah, I'm backing him, and I hope he will turn it around, and I think he will. But right now, the jury's out. That's all I'm saying. General Birkinshaw this is our recent form. From the Newcastle game where we lost 4-0 all the way to current day, and that is 3 wins in there. 4-0 win at home to Everton, 3-0 against Sheffield United, 2-1 win at home to Burnley, and we've lost all the other games apart from a draw away to Leicester.
Yeah, and we've been battered in a few of them as well. That's a big problem. Yeah, I mean, that form is just, it's shocking. When you put it together like that, it's absolutely atrocious, isn't it? It is. I mean, there's no getting around it. That is atrocious form, and it's not even like, apart from maybe the games this season, like, you can't. There's a lot of those games where you can't even tell we played well or anything like that. A lot of them we were just absolutely.
Well, Man City at home we played well.
Yeah, Man City at home.
The one game. Yeah. Spurs Army says Brennan Johnson has deactivated his Instagram account. Pathetic that he's scapegoated by our fans, leading to this, which is absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, agreed.
Look, there's one thing talking about criticism on the pitch, but it should never lead to something like this. This is absolutely disgusting from our fans, to be honest. Super Spurs says, I just don't understand any Spurs fans saying to sack Ange. It's like you haven't seen the last 5 years. Arteta himself had 3 crap seasons before he built this team. Ange needs this season and next summer before it's questioned, or let's sack another manager to rebuild again. And you look at every manager that's doing well. Like, look at Jurgen Klopp. He wasn't great in his first couple of seasons, even though he did get to like cup finals and stuff, didn't he? You're looking at Pep Guardiola, took time to get into it. Mikel Arteta is probably the best case to look at when you're looking at 3 seasons it took him to really see any sign of improvement. So we need to stick with this process.
Yeah. It's just whether you believe Ange is the right guy to head the process or not.
Yeah.
I like Ange. I think he's I do like the way of playing football, but the reality is he definitely doesn't usually stay at a club for more than 2 years. So is there something to say about him being the head of the rebuild? I mean, you can have your own opinions on that. I want to see us persist with him, but if the form does get too bad, and then all of a sudden you start looking, because Conte and Mourinho, we all wanted a rebuild under them, but we knew that these aren't managers who stick around for longer than 2 years.
We kind of lied to ourselves saying that they would be.
Yeah, but are we lying to ourselves here to say he would be? Just because he plays good football, does that mean he can head a rebuild?
I mean, these managers, I think all 3 of the managers maybe, but I mean, I think Mourinho and Ange have come here thinking that they can be here for the long term. I don't think it was ever the case for Conte. But I do feel like Mourinho came here with a long-term vision, and I feel Ange has got a long-term vision as well.
So we persist with it.
Carly says, let me help you, PGMOL. This should have been the first yellow for Jurrien Timber, and this should have been the second yellow for Jurrien Timber for clutching at Vicario's shirt.
Yeah, he got lucky that Vicario was on and got booked there and not him. And considering he was on a yellow at that point, from that point of view,
was the yellow already given?
It was given.
Yeah,
for the
but
foul.
was it given after the whole melee?
I can't remember. I think he did bring out straight away. I can't remember. But from that point of view, maybe he was lucky to stay on the pitch. I don't think the challenge was a red card. I think that still makes the challenge seem a lot worse than it was.
Yeah, but you go back to the Robertson one when Liverpool, when he got sent off against Jones, when he got sent off against us, and it kind of brushed off the top of the ball and he got given a red card.
Yeah, I think it was worse than that.
You think it was worse? I
Yeah,
think
I think it was
maybe
worse.
it was worse, but it's kind of very similar though,
He
didn't
made
it?
Basuma's leg bend. I
Yeah.
remember. No, he barely touched Porro, to be honest.
Jesse Painman says Jared Gillett when he sees a Spurs player.
Yeah, he was so card happy with Spurs yesterday. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was pissing me off.
Adam says Everton and Spurs fans.
This is on the quote retweet.
Assisted dying is expected to be fast-tracked through Parliament.
Spurs fans getting excited.
Oh, God.
Classic Twitter.
Fabrizio Romano parody says this goal animation on the scoreboard when Arsenal scored against Tottenham. Oh,
Was that the
God.
actual animation?
That's ridiculous.
Did Sky Sports actually do that, or was that?
No, it's not Sky Sports. I don't think it was Sky
I really
Sports.
hope that wasn't the actual animation.
Tappin Tobes says Ange didn't catch enough heat for my liking in this post match. My head was too gone. Complete lack of variety to our attacking patterns. When you see that a team like Arsenal suss you out and instead trying to change how we attack, he just changes personnel with the same instruction. And I don't give a damn what your opinion is of Maddison. Taking him off for Werner was quite literally the game. That game finished as a contest. Abysmal stuff. I mean, we kind of said similar things, but we knew this about Ange, didn't we? When we got him, you know, Plan B is to do Plan A better.
Yeah, but I also think you need your system to be hardwired before he feels like he can make proper adjustments to it. But at the moment, a lot of things aren't. He does need to tweak, I feel.
Yeah. Tadarius to do Sonny FC says, why would you use one of the best finishers so wide left and isolated? What's he going to do hugging the touchline? I mean, we've covered that already, but absolutely spot on. Raj Chauhan says, Maddison deep, Udogie half space, Son wide left was a horrid dynamic. Why not just overlap Udogie and move Son inside? Maddison is even decent at manipulating at half yard and crossing from wide in support of Udogie. Again, we have covered that and it's absolutely spot on. Lily White Lab says something very wrong with our left-hand side dynamics. So again, that's exactly the same. Mo Arsenal says Tottenham fans and media showing a picture telling that's a red. Get a life, morons. If referee don't do corruption, we will finish the season with 100+ points. What? We'd have 4 clean sheets from 4 matches if Rice did not get that double yellow or Veltman got a red. I mean, Rice
got sent off.
Rice was deservedly sent off.
Yeah, 100%. But this isn't a red. This challenge here it's not a red. There's just not much to it.
It's not a red at all.
No, it's not a red.
Sigh. And that was when North London derbies actually were a bit feisty.
Yeah.
And that's a pre-season friendly. Daily Hotspur says, we've covered that with Kuti Romero. Tetrunk says, build the team around Kulusevski. I'm not even joking. Our most creative, tenacious and hard-working player by quite some distance.
He's becoming undroppable, isn't he, Kudeki, at the moment?
Yep.
I completely agree with that.
And I kept banging on about it last season. Like, he's not a winger in this system, moving to the central areas. And now we finally found a space for him. You know, we're questioning it. You were questioning it. Where do we fit Decky in this team? And he's found a way.
Yeah, and I've always said, I think in Ange's perfect system, he wants 2 attacking 8s there. And I think we're finally seeing that.
Yeah. But then where does that leave Pape Matar?
Good question. He's got to get better.
Yeah, that's true. Premier League panel says Ange's tactical answers to Arteta's deep block were abysmal. Refusal to move Son inside. Then he took 68 minutes to bring Odegaard on, who is his only 1v1 winger in the squad. Kept trying to build through the middle where there was no space. I mean, is there a case to say that he should have brought on Odegaard earlier?
Probably should have started him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because Odegaard will actually ask questions of the fullback, and once they were 1-0 up, it just became like an impossible task.
But if Odegaard had the space Johnson had, maybe he could have done more with it.
Exactly.
Maybe, we don't really know that for sure, but maybe.
Darren Yarlett says, quite possibly the most gutless, pathetic North London derby performance from a Spurs side in 20 years. Once again, you look at the mediocre signings this club has brought in. Clueless, boring. We bring on Odegaard and Werner, and that they bring on Sterling and Jesus. Absolutely says everything. I think that's wrong where he says the most gutless, pathetic North London derby
Probably
performance
at home,
in 20 years.
It's not. I mean, at home.
At home, yeah. I mean, the one that really sticks out is the one at the Emirates under Nuno.
Yeah, we're 3-0 down after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think at home, I mean, we always give them a good game. Like, this is probably, I wouldn't say Arsenal had it easy yesterday, but I would say, like, in terms of, I think that was probably the easiest they've had it. Probably, even last season, I would say we gave it more of a go.
You say that, but I don't think we deserve to lose the game.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to think of a home game where we've literally not laid a glove on them like we did yesterday.
Yeah, but also on the flip side of that, you've never seen Arsenal come to Tottenham the way they did yesterday and just sit in a low block.
That's also true. But he's saying that I would say at home, I struggled to think of a game where we just especially in those last half an hour, we just did nothing. Like, I struggled to think of a game like that.
Yeah, it's true. When you're talking about the most gutless North London derby performances in 20 years, I'll definitely say if you're just going on the last 20 minutes, then that's for sure. But last one, 4 games, 4 points, worst start to the season in 9 years, which is damning, but hopefully something has to give over the next couple of games. We've got a lot of games coming thick and fast now, so things can, if things carry on going bad, they can spiral very quickly.
Yeah, look, if that's the worry. The worrying thing is we've had all these like kind of good performances and no results, and when that happens, sometimes the players do start to question, lose belief, and we need the results to get that belief up again. So we need that to change very, very soon.
But you know, as quickly as it can spiral in a negative way, it could also go on an upward trajectory very quickly as well if we get consistent results.
Win the next 2 games, and all of a sudden, you know, you're looking upwards again.
I thought you were going to say all is forgiven. I was about to slap you.
No, not all is forgiven. Definitely not. You're just saying you're looking upwards again.
But yeah, that is all we have for you today.
The only thing that can forgive this is a win at the Emirates.
Yeah, in January. We have to, man.
That's the only thing.
We have to, man. We haven't beaten Arsenal since 2022.
We have to beat the Emirates. That's the only thing that can forgive this.
Yeah.